Hello and welcome to the Heart of Dentistry podcast. We're looking forward to bringing you the tools that will be so helpful in making your career full of heart and fulfillment. We have good news today. Will you share with our friends what's going on today?
Oh my gosh, I just got goosebumps thinking about introducing Kristie to our listeners and our viewers. So we are delighted and very blessed that we have Kristie Nation Boltz that is going to be joining us today. She is a part of our Women in Dentistry do, and that's how I originally met you, that I can remember, Kristie. But Kristie does a lot of phenomenal things. She is one of my favorite people that I've met in the last 3 years. And everything from being this amazing cyclist to being an anthropologist, if I can say that word right, with her heart that she does in donating to different and various organizations that I'm going to let you bring up maybe at the end there. And also, she is my dental CMO. She is a marketing guru, and she works with clients in and outside of the office, and just a delight. So, Kristie, welcome.
I am overjoyed to be with the both of you at the same time.
Yes, you get a 2-for-1 when you were a guest on our podcast. So we were hoping that you could tell us something that maybe you personally or your clients, or maybe some topics on the pain that's going on and how we can help our listeners and viewers get the pain out and put the love back in.
Well, let's start off by saying that I was born on February 14th and happened to have a heart-shaped birthmark. My kiss Cupid, as we say. So when we talk about putting the heart back into dentistry or back into our practice or back into our lives, there are hearts all over our house for a very special reason. And my mom will tell you that they changed my due date several times. And I am honored to be born on a day that people associate with love. And I don't associate it as a made-up Hallmark holiday. I associate it with love. And so usually when I sit down with people and they hire me as a chief marketing officer, we start with their heart. And you might think that's weird. You might think, oh, well, wouldn't you start with their P&L? And wouldn't you say, it's like, nope, we start with their heart. And there are a lot of people right now who are frustrated by their team's inability to execute on the practice marketing plan. There are people that are frustrated because they can't hire the right people to do it, or I've hired the right people and I can't train them. And it's like, I know, Kristie, that word of mouth is supposed to be the best source of new patients, but for the life of me, I can't get my team to execute the marketing that we have in play. And so what ends up happening is they end up writing bigger checks. They write a big check to Google, or they write a big check to an agency, or I have a client who's now on their 3rd agency in 12 months. They just bounce around kind of looking for this magic pill when it comes to marketing. And having just had an onboarding conversation with a new client last week, they said to me, this is totally different than what we thought you were going to talk about for our first meeting. And I said, why? And they said, well, we thought you were going to have to tell us, we need to take down the billboard on I-9, or we need to do this. It's like, I want to start with what the expected behaviors are in your practice. And I used to call those values. Okay. One of my personal values, Jamie and Brandi, as you know, comes from my dad. Okay. That I can do hard things. That's a personal value. If I say to my team, hey, I want you to adopt my values, they're like, well, wait a second, I got my own set of values. What do you mean? I don't want that. So I don't call them values anymore. I call them expected behaviors. What are the 4 to 5 adjectives that describe the expected behaviors that you want from your team? And usually you want the same thing from your patients. And so, our good friend Manal talks about your avatar patient. What is that ideal patient that you're trying to attract? And we want to do that in marketing, right? We want to attract the right kind of patients. When people come to me, it's usually they want a better patient. They want a better team. They want a better practice. And a lot of that starts with defining the expected behaviors. Because I can teach you that there's only 3 kinds of marketing. I can teach you the most effective way to attract the right kind of patient. If you don't start with the heart, right? If you don't start with the expected behaviors, and really those should also apply to you as an owner. They should apply to you as a hygienist. They should apply to you as the newest sterilization tech. They should apply to you as a member of the administrative team who's been there for 17 years and absolutely cannot believe how many people are no-showing interviews right now. Those expected behaviors apply to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's happened in our industry is we're tired. And
it's interesting because I always do a Zoom call. They want to do a quick phone call with new clients. And unfortunately, right now with new patients, of course, until somebody starts doing something creative, like doing Zoom new patient calls in the office, I can look and know within less than a minute when the heart has left the eyes and the body and the pain has replaced it, the ache has replaced it. I can tell right away. I love that you start with the heart because that's, I know Brandi and I know myself too. And I think that's what makes us such a great little trio right now. And this topic is so yummy and delicious is because I believe we all died with our heart on a regular basis. So how do you get them? What are some of your underlying ways? Like I know what I ask mine. I ask my clients on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being awesome and terrific. Can you be honest with me and tell me how you feel about being a dentist today? How does she or he feel? Where is their passion from when they graduated and got that diploma? And I can't believe how many ratings are below a 3 right now. So what is one of your little ways to get them to kind of realize that it's not necessarily about the marketing, it's about the loss of heart?
I wish I could remember the name of the person I heard say this. When we have a conversation with someone, it's important that we recognize what bucket that conversation falls into. And for most of us, especially as consultants, coaches, advisors, we are problem solvers. And so when someone comes to us with a conversation, our initial response is to be a problem solver. We get hired to be a problem solver. Kristie, I have plenty of new patients. They're the wrong kind of patients. Kristie, I have plenty of patients. My case acceptance is terrible. Kristie, I have plenty of blank, but blank isn't, it's like, fix my problem. Okay? There's 2 other kinds of conversations. And one of those conversations is, I just need you to hear me. And the other conversation is, I just need a hug. And there are plenty of questions that I can ask a client around solving their problem. It's a different set of questions about how you feel. It's a different set of questions. Are you in not the best place right now? And we could say that's mentally, spiritually, physically. whether you're a Panky person or not, there is a component to our success that starts here. There is a component to our success that is here. And there is a component to our success, certainly in marketing, that has to do with writing checks. There's a lot of people who hire me who say, can you fix my writing checks problem? We got to work on this, right? Mm-hmm. And we also have to determine the mindset of the team, because in many cases, the question is, what's your team the best at? Not what's wrong.
Yeah.
What hurts? Hey, it's what are they the best at? What is your practice the best at? Oh, we're great at this, this, and this. Okay. It's like, all right. And you can kind of see this spark in people's eyes. They're like, yep, we are good at that. Crap, I thought we were having this conversation about the 27 things we're doing wrong. Okay. The spark that comes from, oh yeah, we do this really well. Great. Are we trying to get better at that? Oh, no, we don't need any help with that. We're good. How did you get there? Oh, now I can dig in, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't hire me to always solve a marketing problem. People hire me better patient, better team, better practice. And in some cases, all of that stems from, we have the wrong kind of patient. And if we don't fix that, we can't fix any of this.
Yeah.
Some of that stems from, what are the expected behaviors? Okay. Are we expecting people to be accountable? Are we expecting people to have fun? Are we expecting people to be nimble? You think you're going to attract the right kind of patient to the practice in a pediatric environment when one of your expected behaviors isn't that we know how to have fun?
Right. Yeah.
So once you uncover a couple of these expected behaviors and they have that aha moment of, oh, we are good at this and this is how we got there, and there's that gap of this is what we want, how do you help them bridge that gap? Because I feel like in addition to being problem solvers, we're gap bridgers. I almost said it the reverse, but gap bridgers of gaps. So how do you take them from that aha moment that, oh, I am really proud of this, this is how we got there, and then this is where we're trying to get? How do I get them there?
I think the first thing I do is dispel the myth that that's going to happen in one meeting, one training session, or one Zoom call. Okay. In fact, I use this now with teams all the time. I'll ask people to put their hand up, and then I'll have them put it down on a piece of paper and take a pen and trace their hand. You remember like when you traced your hand like a turkey?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to take your hand, guys, and trace your hand. Okay? Now you're never going to think of your hand the same way again. Because if you want to get better at anything, if I'm going to bridge that gap, I don't bridge it by Evel Knievel launching a huge ramp over what's the big gap in Idaho, Brandi, that he jumped?
By where the Perrine Bridge is.
Yeah.
Falls.
Yeah. Dentists and their team members often think that's how we're going to bridge a gap. Well, listen, we're going to come and fire on all cylinders. We're going to launch ourselves across, and boom, everyone's going to applaud it, and it's going to be big. Okay, it's this. And this is to remind us that it's 5 minutes, 5 days a week. So literally, if I'm trying to bridge a gap on new patient call conversion, if I'm trying to bridge a gap on first-class cabin patients, if I'm trying to bridge a gap, quite frankly, this probably works in anything.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 5 days a week. Well, Kristie, we only work 4 days a week. Yeah, I get that. We have to actually vest 5 minutes on the day we're not clinically practicing to get better at them. I don't expect you to do it on the weekend, okay? But you are going to have to do 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
Of something. Do you help them just of something?
Yeah, and then we have to figure out what that is. So
that
if
is
it's reviews, right? Because this is the hot button thing. If it's reviews, it's, I don't need to sign up for another service. To use the service I have and be a little bit more precise. It's not a big elaborate jump. It's not something that's going to have a lot of fanfare. Okay? The consistency is the key.
Yeah. Our good friend Mark LeBlanc says consistency wins over on commitment every time.
Every time.
Every time. Consistency wins every time over commitment. I'm committed to lose 5 pounds by the end of this month. But if you're not consistent with how you're going to lose those 5 pounds, you probably won't lose the 5 pounds. I can say it all until my heart is pounding, beating my chest that I'm committed to lose it. And so what you just said reminded me of Mark LeBlanc's famous saying. I've kept that with me for 8 years. Consistency outwins over commitment every time.
Here's the other thing. Brandi just published a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
Right? And I sent it to my favorite client. I sent a big stack of them. And they were like, oh, we thought this came right from the author. I'm like, no, it came from me, you spinner. We thought one of the hygienists ordered the... I'm like, no. It came from me, okay? Now, Brandi could probably tell us all about her writing process. I have been stuck writing my book since before the pandemic. Okay? Now, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week is all I need to do. And here's what, well, Kristie, you're going to stop writing after 5 minutes? Yeah, some days I am. Guys, if you're trying to get better at something in the morning meeting, or you're not going to solve all the world's problems in 5 minutes, what you are going to do is bring that thing, whatever it is, right here to the front of your brain. So that then as you go about the rest of your day, it's going to kind of sit right here and it's going to come back up. In fact, you've all heard the expression, why is it that we think of such great ideas right as we're falling asleep or we're getting in the shower? It's like I had a very dear friend who had a Post-it note and a pencil on a string outside of his shower. And I would watch him like put his arm out and write an idea. It's because the part of our brain that we need to be creative and develop and all of that is not usually operational when I'm knee deep in my technical thing. Okay? I'm on my 7th Zoom call of the day. I'm not focused on that. But the second that shuts off, and for many of us, this happens right as we're falling asleep or right as we're waking up or we're standing in the shower and we kind of let go, that's when the answer comes. So if you're working on this thing, whatever it is, 5 minutes a day. Well, Kristie, is 5 minutes a day going to be enough to really turn my team from 32% conversion to 95% conversion? Yes, but not overnight. Any more than I'm going to lose 12 pounds overnight so I can climb up the hill faster on my bike. But it's going to bring it right here. And if you can have the discipline to just pick one thing.
Yep. I love it.
And this is everything is a priority, nothing priority.
This is about it going to be what we're going to talk about and do in November. It's like, what is the one thing that if you got serious about it would change your life in the next 12 months? And listen, we can all make elaborate lists of all the things. Oh, I want this, and want this. So Brandi, this is the next thing. I ask them to give me 5 minutes a day. Then the next thing I do is go, good, let's write all the things we want to work on. And we give them 7-8 minutes to brainstorm. And then we start cutting. Okay, get rid of half of them. And some people have written 27 things. Cut half. Cut again. Cut again. Okay? And what a fun exercise to do as a team to find out if you're even aligned, right? The owner, the clinical team, the front, the back. We have all these divisions in dentistry we talk about all the time, okay? I wonder if we're all aligned on the one thing that if we could work on 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, would make a huge difference. And I have to be that way right now with my book. Otherwise, I'm not going to get done.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things that I need to do. Yes, guys, I understand we're operating a very complex healthcare business. The expected behaviors, right? I expect you to be able to do hard things. That's one of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I expect you to commit to making it simple. I expect you to have a commitment to be 1% better. Those are some of mine. Okay? Tomorrow I'm flying to Wichita to do a team training for an ortho office, and they have 81 employees.
Wow.
One of the focuses of that team training is the gap between their marketing and their customer service. The doctor is an exceptional individual, professionally and personally, a man of great character, has been preaching the customer service standards of the practice for some time. We finally got smart, and we asked every team member to spend 5 minutes and write down the very best customer service experience they'd had anywhere in their life. Do you think we got different answers from people who were 20 and people who were 60?
Oh, yeah. I would guess.
Right? And what we discovered was that we all had very different definitions of what exceptional service meant.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it reminds me of a video I saw in church as a kid, where a young boy leaves his front yard and walks down to the corner, and you see cars whizzing by. You both might remember this video. And the mom notices he's gone and comes tearing out of the front yard because she's trying to scream his name, get his attention, and she grabs him before he steps into the street where these busy cars and intersections. And she says, "Johnny, how many times have I told you to stay away from the corner?" And he looks up at her, and he's just tears in his eyes because his mom's yelling at him. And he says, "Mommy, what's a corner?"
Yeah.
We have to define who we are, what we expect, before I can ever bridge any gap. And then once I define it, I have to commit 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week to whatever it is. But most of the, I think I have to, I should, right? We should all over ourselves. Okay. And then step number 3, who's holding you accountable? Most of my most successful relationships, professionally and personally, are because I have somebody that holds me accountable. I got a husband who holds me accountable for certain things. I've got a coach that holds me accountable for certain things. I've got a community that holds me accountable in cycling. I've got a community that holds me accountable in dentistry. And many of the people listening are going to think, "Oh, she is right." When there is an accountability part of this, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's an app. If you download James Clear's Habits app and you have to log in every day, that will work, right?
Right.
I just happen to be in the Clifton Strengths, an activator. So I want my accountability to be with people, but yours doesn't have to be, right? I hold clients accountable.
Yes.
And so do both of you. Okay? And really, any great coach does that, right? That's why we hire them. Not because it's like, oh yeah, they have the secret sauce and we know that if we just eat what they're serving, we'll be fine.
I like those. I like those. No, go ahead, Brandi.
I'm just going to say that is such powerful news for us in our lives. And so I'm going to invite everyone that joined us today to write that list, do that brainstorm of what is important in your life. What do you want to work on? It could be at home or at the office, and then cut it down until one and do that 5 minutes a day for 5 days a week and watch yourself grow. And if you need an accountability partner, the app is fabulous. A friend online or in real life is fantastic. You can reach out to Kristie Boltz. We will give you her information. Or of course, Jamie and I, we can do hard things, and to get that bridge gapped, the gap in the bridge, where are we doing? We're bridging the gap. It really is going to be beautiful to watch 5 minutes, 5 days a week, transform that one thing that you'd like to work on. So,
yes.
Kristie, thank you so much for joining us today and being such a powerful member of the community that really does bless our profession and our world. Thank you so very much.
Yes. We're grateful to have you as a friend, a colleague, and one of our guests.
I'm back again.
Thanks to both of you. We could spend 4 hours, but I will issue one last message. My cell phone is 916-947-1855. Once again, 916-947-1855. Just like the great Bob Goff. And if you haven't read any of Bob Goff's, please enjoy. Get his most recent book, Undistracted. Bob always published his cell phone number. Send me your list. Send me your turkey. Okay? I would love to hear of your success. And you could draw a heart around your turkey and remember, hey, this is Barb from the Heart of Dentistry podcast. Here's the thing that I'm working on, and here's my 5 minutes, 5 days. This is what's most important. Brandi, thank you for reminding us that professionally and personally, sometimes we can only work on one of those. But if they're not aligned, how difficult everything else becomes.